Welcome, everyone. I
I'm just
appreciate it.
going to close the door.
All right. Well, we got a small group today, a good group, which is great. I love it. And let's see here. In any case, we're going to be talking about developing prayer. And just for a short period of time, this is almost like a preliminary to the main course that's going to be coming out. And I can't wait to do that. It's just tons and tons of information. And you're doing good, Ethel?
Yep, good.
Good. How's your daughter, if you don't mind?
Daughter-in-law, she's
Daughter-in-law.
good. We didn't check in, but afterwards she was commenting on the feeling she had, and especially in her leg. That it
Good.
was lengthening or something, stretching.
I know.
We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. We had an appointment yesterday, and all the appointments now are either with FaceTime or telephone call or Zoom, and it's just as effective, I believe. And it's effective because of my intent, because that's my prayer. And I'm so used to this, it's second nature because I practice it. And that's my place. I practice prayer in my life, and through the prayer, everything else is connected. Manifestation's connected because that's our prayer. Everything's connected in every way. And healing is prayer. I'm not talking about utilizing prayer as a religious thing. You can if you want. There's nothing incorrect about that. That's where we get our connotation from. I'm talking about prayer as far as speaking the word from within ourselves. And the word is our intent. And so we all have availability to it. We do it anyway in our life. And, you know, we call it prayer in a religious term. And we don't have to be religious in order to have a manifestation in our life or a healing in our life. And so that's more of a Gnostic way. And just like with all ways, all sects, all orders, all churches, all organizations and religions, et cetera, they gear it towards their doctrines. And they call it, you know, prayer. And so according to their format. And, you know, the more of a purist Gnostic way is it was pre-Jesus and pre-Moses. They had tribals. All these tribes that didn't have an understanding of religion, though they formed pseudo-religions to their gods, and they would also have the preliminary to religion in using prayer. They still had their rituals as they learn language in their form, whether it be expressive or whether it be utilizing the magics or hands or anything else. But we can utilize it in our lives and become very, very common with it. Well, first of all, before we get started here, I want to thank everyone for being here. And Lynn will be here in a moment, and she'll be posting a few things. Hey, Apprentice, she says hi to all. Good to see you, Apprentice. And she's in Arizona as well. Let me see her. If anyone's interested in an appointment, please feel free to contact me either through the email or my phone number. Lynn will be putting the information up. And again, it's through FaceTime or telephone calls or through Zoom, whatever your preference is. And it's extremely effective according to each person's needs. Excuse me. And or go to my website and you know, sign up there, and then contact me, and we'll set up a time and date day that's convenient for everyone. And tonight, we have the Healing Circle. Please feel free to attend that. And that will also be later for replay. But if you attend it live, I'll be able to work with you and or work with someone else through you. And most people tell me that something in their life has changed. And that's all that matters to me. And I remember, and Sue's heard the story 1,000 times. I remember someone in Chicago one time in one of the healing circles. I was working with someone in the center of the circle, and it was a real casual event, and people were able to ask questions while I'm working with people or make comments or whatever. And I was working with this one person, and then someone just popped up and says, "Wow, you must feel really good, healing people and whatever, working with people." And I stopped and I looked at everyone and I said, I don't give a damn, and all that, and I said that all that really matters to me is that a person feels good. I don't care how they're healed. And it's not me doing it, it's the old man or old woman upstairs that's actually doing it. And so that's all that really matters, is if a person's life changes. Nothing else. Everything else is, in a sense, egoic. And so with the ego, and there's two forms. We can go either way in life. We can, justify, and we can honor ourselves, or we can honor God. We can give exaltation to ourselves in life, which we do quite often, more often than we realize, or we can give exaltation to that divinity, that godliness, the creator within, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't care. So we have choices of which way we want to go in life, always. And it's dependent upon how conscious we are. And the more conscious we are that it's not us doing things, the greater the power, the force, and the energy have availability to manifest. And we don't have to take responsibility for it. We can say it's the old man's fault or old woman's fault or whatever. And so we have that choice in life. Any case, and also tomorrow night we have the gathering, and people can ask questions. So please, I need people to post on Facebook or email me their questions of something about spirituality. And I'll also do some healings in the gathering, and sometimes I go off in diatribes and talk about things, whatever's needed. And at the very end, I try to put in a 1 or 2 minute meditation. I feel that they're very powerful, and they lead into self-development, self-growth. I do have courses as well that are paid for. The next one coming up is scanning, I believe, and it's going to be incredible. And I'll just go deeply into it, and it's what I work with through my prayer within myself. And I'm able to perceive things at a distance at times, not all the time, but at a distance. And I'm able to, it's through the scanning that the healing will manifest as well. So I teach that in a course coming up this next week. So please do take advantage of that. It's powerful, very, very powerful. And that'll be announced on the website as well if it isn't already up there. Linda might have put it up. And there's other courses that I'm offering, say every 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. And you'll see those listed on the website as they are developing. I think, or either it's scanning or let me see here real quickly. I believe, yes, this is, the 28th is scanning. Then we're going to have a really, I don't know if it's going to be a mini course. I haven't talked to Lynn about this yet. The next mini course or full course, I think it's a mini course, will be Powerful Empathic Healing. And I'm going to do it to it. As much as I've always avoided the term empathic, because it's people want to go into feeling the pain of others, and that's not. That's an old, archaic way from centuries and centuries ago, going all the way back for thousands of years, and it no longer applies. The true empath will get a sight of something without taking something on. You don't have to take things on, and you don't have to suffer where the other person is suffering. And that's just not, it's not conducive in the world. It just doesn't fit anymore. So watch for them, watch for everything as it's being offered on the website or on Facebook and one of my pages there. And please do take advantage of that. And I just got a notice for my Zoom meeting now. It's a little late, but in any case, so watch for these things as they're offered. Many of my references are from various writings that I've done and teachings and stuff like that, that I've given, things that have just come out of my mouth. Hey, Lynn, things that have just come out of my mouth, and my experiences and stuff like that. Very, very little, if anything, in any class or workshop or teaching, whatever, is from another source. So if it is, I'll try to remember what source it was. It was from maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, or something like that. And it's sometimes difficult to remember. So everything is from my heart, in what comes forth into my mouth and your ears, whatever. So what I wanted to do was to is anyone versed? Please feel free to participate in this. Is anyone versed in prayer and how to do it? Does anyone have any doubt as far as their ability to pray? Please, anyone, feel free. Come on, chickens. Yes, please, go ahead. Ethel.
I find myself in prayer, it's more like in service when I know I'm going to be giving messages or connecting with people. It will be, to let it come easily from source, to let it flow through me the way it's supposed to from source.
Yes.
Saying that with gratitude.
Yes.
That's the, yeah.
Yes. Good. That's awesome. And also, we have always access to prayer. Every word, every thought, every action is our living prayer anyway. Every word, every thought, every action is our living prayer. So we get to choose how conscious we want to become of that. And as we're learning to become conscious of every word, every thought, every action is literally our living prayer, the more empowering the answer will be. Always. We always have access to it. Sharonda, you were going to say something, please.
I've been looking at different forms of prayer. I really liked what Ethel said. It's like once you get started, the words that need to be expressed, they come, and they're the best because they're what's needed, perhaps. I like very much to claim the nature of God as I understand God to be, God being perfect love, being omnipotent, omnipresent. There's no place, there's nothing but God. So that's pretty powerful, whether it's about, a healing need or a situation with in a relationship, a business concern.
Yes.
And then, the Bible says pray without ceasing. And what does that mean? You're supposed to be talking to God all day? I don't know. I have friends who say yes. And then there's other places where it says just be still and listen. I think that's pretty powerful. Today I thought I'd come and hear what you have to say, Mark.
Yes. Yes. And just being conscious of every word that comes out of our mouth, every thought that comes into our mind, and every action that we participate in is literally our living prayer. That's when as we become more conscious of that, that's when we get more empowered with that power, force, and energy that's coming forth. It's as simple as, say, oh God, I wish I had this. Right there, that's a prayer. But what we tend to do is to wash it away by thinking of something else right after that, or blowing it off, or desiring something else right after that. But we have the availability given to us of completing that prayer. We have total availability, and by giving more life to it, through desire from our heart, how deeply do we want something? And how ironically, we say something, God, I wish I had this, and then we blow it off, and we change the subject, or we think about something else, and we just sabotage ourselves. We watered it down where it's going to only partially manifest, or we might see someone else of what we just prayed for. So we just washed our prayer away, or we obliterated it, where God's saying, hey, look, I'm giving this to you, I'm offering it to you. What are you going to do about it? Are you prepared for it? Being prepared is the desire, and if it fits in your life. Or even greater than that is it's made more perfect to fit us in our life. The more empowerment, the more desire, which is the fire from within creates the fire. The desire creates the fire for something to be made manifest. It's waiting for us. Yes, please, Sharonda.
So I'm not familiar with your format, so I'll go ahead.
Please.
You can guide me. I love so much what you're saying, that piece about being conscious about what I prayed for. Because if I'm conscious, if I'm using maybe different words, but if I'm expecting, but if I'm paying attention, I can bear witness that my prayer has been answered. And if I'm not being conscious, I could totally miss it.
Yes. Yes.
And here's another thought maybe going along with what you said is, I have a friend would say, look, when you talk to Holy Spirit, or, it's like you ring a friend, you don't ring the friend and say, you don't ring your friend and then hang up the phone. Or she would use this metaphor like you place
Precisely.
your order for you place your order for your burger and fries. Well, then you wait for the answer. You don't walk away. You wait for your order. You wait for what you've asked for. Well, I think I walk away not paying attention too often.
But the neat thing is, we can ask it with all of our intent and with all of our heart, but then we have to let go of it.
Yes.
That's it.
Because if we don't let go of it, then we're not giving it a chance to happen. And oftentimes what we do is we'll keep that prayer, and then we start to change it and change it and change it. So the idea is, and this is the answer to that, is to know what we want ahead of time, figure it out, Then go to the old man or old woman upstairs and say, hey, look, boss, this is the situation. What are you going to do about this? Or this is what I really need in my life. What are you going to do about it? And picture it while you're saying it. Picture it while you're feeling it. Picture it while you are imagining yourself touching it or being involved in it. Picture it. Focus the mind. That will fine tune. Then get busy doing something else. And you'll see that, oh my God, I was just thinking about that, or I was just praying for that. But it takes, many people, most people in the world, what they'll do is they'll just blow it off. You know, what you can do is see it, know it, feel it, touch it in your mind, everything. Give it to God, Creator, Source, and let it manifest it for you in your life. You have to understand also that what happens is if you don't see it immediately manifesting right in front of you, that's because that prayer has to go to the right people, the right situations, the right time, the right everything in order for it, the manifestation of it to happen. Some things are immediate. Other things are being prepared for you that involve other people's lives as well. One second. Mike, did you have a question?
I was going to say that prayer resets my brain. And prayer resets my
Okay.
brain. And for example, if I think I got a problem and I think like 4 different solutions and I don't know what's going to happen, then I say, God, just let me be okay with whatever happens. Then I don't even think about it anymore. I just am curious about how things unfold.
What happens?
Without judging.
Yeah. What happens is, okay, I'm fine with any situation. So you're also setting yourself up with other people's minds and intents. Oh, let me settle for anything that happens. This way, you want to be in control by saying, okay, your will for something greater. What are you going to give to me?
Judging it in whatever life can appreciate that. And also, if instead of should I continue talking?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Okay. If I want something and I pray about it, it helps me to open up to whatever that experience might be in the future in the most positive way, with a sense of trust and caring, and then not really being too focused on what is this going to happen, you know, what is it, without defining exactly what it is. It's, you know, in specifics, but just be open to, I'm a better person to allow these things to happen to me as they manifest themselves in my life. Does that make any sense?
What we want to do, instead of being fallible to the world's prayers, everyone in our environment and the mass mind and everything else, what we want to do is take on an empowerment to recognize our authority of our life, and knowing that when you ask for something, you're doing it purposefully. So you want to be more exacting in what you need in your life. This is my situation, God. This is my situation, boss. Whatever. Source, Creator, Nameless One. This is my situation. What are you going to do about it that it's going to be greater, or it's going to enhance me? We don't want to necessarily say positive things. We want to say creative things. Why else are we praying? Then we're finding ourselves being able to take on a purposeful prayer that's going to do something for us, and it'll fulfill eventually or exponentially the needs of other people's as well, even if we're doing praying for something for ourselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Ethel, please, please. So forget 1 second here. I apologize. I keep getting reminded of things to say. So we want to necessarily get rid of the connotation of positive. That's nice. What's positive? It's being creative. Then we're taking on an authority that's been shared with us since our birth and pre-birth. We're being creative versus destructive or complacent, which is destructive. And then there'll be a replay on this where you can rehash some of the understandings as many times as you want. Ethel, please, I apologize.
That's mostly here to listen to you and others' discussion, so it's fine.
That's scary.
But I guess the question is that this is like counter to what I've been grappling with before, which is goes along with which Michael is saying, which is not to be specific because source might manifest or change the manifestation.
Oh my God, you don't want that.
Something that fits you better.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to put that to what you're saying, which
Yes.
is being specific.
See, what you want is to be specific. Then the old man or old woman upstairs, they'll, all right, here's my analogy that I always give. And I apologize to the others that have heard this 500 million times already. We have a deep desire within us. And it takes, in that desire, oh God, I wish I had this, or this would happen. And what happens is, and then we just blow it off or wash it away or whatever. But if we stayed with that for about 5 seconds or 15 seconds, which we normally only hold a thought for 3 to 7 seconds, the max. But if we stayed with it for a little bit longer purposefully, that's a way of controlling ourselves and the mind and the needs. Then what happens is, as we hold that, that prayer is actually going out somewhere in the universe. And then all of a sudden an enzyme, the perfect enzyme, will capture it. And it will mold it, knead it, shape it, reshape it, remold it, re-knead it, and shoot it back to you, your environment, your city, your town, whatever, the people you're involved with in your life. And we start to see it manifest around us, either immediately or developing into it. As soon as we let go of it and don't think about it anymore, because you said it with intent. And it all happens in 1/10 the speed of light. So the more purposeful we are with it, the more we're controlling ourselves as well. And we're setting ourselves up for the manifestation of it according to our needs and and also with our environment around us, the people that we're involved with in life. Does that make sense, hon?
Mhm.
So the more purposeful we are, the more active we are in that spirit. The spirit carries the activity. That's what the purpose of the spirit is. The spirit moved across the face of the waters and brought life. It created something. It brought life. The spirit of 76, it was a life. So that's what the spirit does. It carries life. It's a carrier of life. And the creativity happens from that.
It's neat.
So we get to participate in that the more purposeful we are within ourselves. All right, God, however you're going to do this, I don't know. I hope it's okay. That's defeating ourselves.
Right. When you were talking, I had this image of, of the desire, the prayer going out, and I just had this image of spirit kind of receiving it. It was really neat. And then
Yes.
doing that molding, and then there's this
Yeah.
collaboration or coordination between,
That's being taken care of without us interjecting.
right. It was neat.
Does that make sense, Ronaldo? Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense. I was just also thinking that sometimes it becomes a bit challenging when, let's say, you have your business and there's some things you want for your business, and not to check back into it because you are at kind of like joining the pool, right? So it becomes a challenge. So, but I mean, definitely something to work on, right?
Yes, and it only takes seconds. It only takes seconds.
Right.
So, and I know that we have life around us, but we all have thoughts. And it's learning to recognize those thoughts. And every word, every thought, every action that comes out of us is our living prayer. So if we can stop for the moment and say, did I just pray that? If we can recognize our thoughts, those are our prayers. Did I just think that? And if that dummy, who pulled in front of me, that's a prayer. Or, whatever. And I'm guilty of this all the time. I love it. And I sometimes swear, but, and then I say, okay, God. I remember many, many years ago when people were just coming into this New Age movement and stuff like that we're experiencing since the 60s or 70s, I should say, that people I would tell people about this stuff, and then they become conscious of things that they were saying or thinking, and then people would say, cancel, cancel. It was the most hilarious thing. I love it. But, that's their way of, rectifying, what they were just thinking or feeling, or saying. It was cool. Cancel, cancel. I'd always crack up when people said that. I loved it. I tried using it for a while, but it didn't work for me. But all right. Sue, do you have any problems with your prayers? Do you notice anything?
Sure, I have lots of problems with my prayers.
Love it.
I don't think I'm so unspecific that it's hard for me to get beyond the point of, dear Lord, just be with me each day, or something like that.
That's a prayer.
Yeah, I know. And it's very general. I'm very general.
Well, you're asking something creative. Be with me. Live in
Yeah.
my actions. Speak out of my mouth.
Mm.
Come into my head and give me an understandings about things. And we get more understandings, and that's fine to live a life like that.
Mhm.
There's
But I love the way you said that, you know, when you go to church, they are praying kind of and they're including their doctrine. That has helped me so much because I've noticed I'm critical in a way when I go to church of their prayers because they don't give me the feeling of God's presence. And that's what I want, is the feeling of God's
everything
presence.
is in incremental baby steps
Yeah.
for humanity.
Mhm.
Everything. And you know, they're forming their ways, and there's a church for everyone, but all these churches, every church, every order, every sect, every way
Mhm.
has uh, a little piece of God, and they're all connected in that respect.
I can understand that, but I can understand why their prayer doesn't affect me as much as somebody else's does, or, you know, yeah.
Yeah, and what happens is, you know, people will go to one church and then they find, you know, conflict or whatever, disheartening stuff or anything. Then they'll go, they got what they needed from that church. Then they'll go, they find themselves, they use the conflict, they use the awkwardness inside to get out of that church to go to another one, and where they're going to get something more out of. And we keep growing and evolving and evolving and evolving. Does that make sense?
I think it does, and I think I do like the informal prayer type of action best.
The church within you. That's
Yeah.
nothing incorrect about that either. Yeah. That's a more direct source in my understanding and my experience. It's within. That divinity is alive and well within us, and now we have to recognize that, recognize our older understandings that there's a divinity within. That's why we're alive. That's why we can say something and it will share with us. The old analogy that I always give: we can be in the shower or doing the dishes, and all of a sudden we have an aha moment. But we're getting that aha moment from our source of things that questions we were wondering about prior to that we didn't know an answer to, or an elaboration on something that we didn't understand before. It will be shared with us in that moment of quietness, in that moment of stillness and focus. Something is shared with us. And it's our place to realize that, you know, we can become quiet for a moment, in a sense, by recognizing what's coming out of our mouth, our thinking, our actions, our prayer. What do I want to pray for? Now that I'm conscious of it, I'm saying all these other things, or thinking all these other things, or doing all these other things. What do I really want to pray for? Then we start watching ourselves.
Mhm.
That's when the prayer becomes empowered even more so. And we're finding ourselves, as we're watching ourselves, we're finding ourselves in that space where we have access to actual answers through physical or understanding. It will come to us, the voice. That's the small, still voice within that the ancient mystics referred to. In that quiet place of observing ourselves. Oh, I was just going to say something. That's my prayer. Wait a second. Let me reshape that into something specific or nothing at all. Because we're in a quiet place and we're seeing that, oh, I'm saying this, maybe that's not the appropriate thing to really say, or to really ask, or to really do. We're finding ourselves in a quiet place, when we're observing, that's when things become more focused. That's when things become manifest in the process, either immediately or it starts developing for you to participate in. Then that day or the next day or a couple days later, you'll see, oh my God, I was just praying for that. How neat. Thanks, God. Because it was being prepared for us in a more correct way. Please, any questions?
I think by listening, sometimes other people tell you the prayer also.
Yes, yes.
And that happened last night. I was talking to my niece or my nephew, and he just lost his mother that the day before. And he said, I saw that she saw Jesus and she wanted to go to him. And I said, that's it. That is the prayer right there. I don't know what all happened. It was a mystery, her death. But I think that was her son's answer. And that was my prayer also then. It became my prayer.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
I remember one time, many years ago in my order, that I would find myself kneeling down and just, giving my life to God. And I ended up saying all the time, God, kill me, take my life. And to me, and I still say that at times too, and that's giving myself over to that to be utilized, where there's an emptiness of the worldliness around me at times. And so it doesn't mean that, someone's going to come along and shoot me or knife me. That may happen, but I'm giving my life to God. And that's what we have availability to, but we still get to be ourselves. We still get to be us. We can kid around, we can be jerks, whatever, but we're still giving our life, to that divinity, saying, okay, use me, manifest through me, show me, guide me, direct me. And it will. And, as we do that more often, it's available to us. You don't have to be a martyr or anything like that. The age of martyrdom ended over 200 years ago. But, here we are living martyrdom in our lives anyway, by, or pseudo martyrdom. So, the entire world is more or less imaginative, and we can't despise it because all things are, all people are really like children in our imaginations. And, we're doing the best we can, and the only way that we know how. So why not purposefully do it by being conscious of our thoughts? Otherwise, we're using our imagination to image in action in a rampant way there's no organization, and in some uncanny way, we're being like chickens that, run around with their heads cut off, not realizing that we're doing that. So why not be in control by stopping ourselves, by observing ourselves and seeing what we're in prayer for, or what our prayer is? Then we stop ourselves because we're becoming more conscious. Prayers are patterns that we can put the depth of our heart, or we can put our hearts into for life's creations. It's waiting for us to utilize. It's available to us. It's a gift. Prayers are patterns that we can put our heart into the energy of the heart of something that we thought of, then we can put the energy of the heart into life's creations. It's actually a way that we can have communion as we participate in that. So, all right. I hope you, at some future time, take advantage of the full course that will be offered in this. And also, we do, again, if Lynn, can you please do me a favor, put up the next course coming up in scanning? What is it? It's scanning, yes. On,
The art of
next-
scanning.
Yes,
yes.
the art of scanning. You'll love
The
it.
art of scanning. It's September 28th is the start date, an hour and a half each day, ends on October 1st.
For 4
and-
days. Yes.
So it's 4 days, and the registration should be ready like in half an hour. I was having issues with my computer again,
All right.
so sorry for the
That's okay.
delay.
All right. So I hope that was informative to some people, everyone. And God bless you. And thanks so much for being here. Look out for all the mini free classes and the and tonight the healing circle for yourself or for other people. I won't work with emotional stuff, just the body wise, and chronic situations and aches and pains and things and diseases and things. One thing for each person, unless we have a lot of time. There's a few people. And then tomorrow is the gathering. Please have your questions. Either email them to Lynn and I. Lynn's admin at markehrlichs.com. And I'm Mark at markehrlichs.com. And that's it. Have fun, everyone. Yes. I can't hear you, Ethel.
Hold on.
There you
For the
go.
Questions
Yes.
to email? Is
Yes.
it completely open-ended? There's no theme to it? It's just come up with, if you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, pertaining to spirituality or God or situations, whatever,
Okay.
or healing. Yes. Blessings, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.